Hey everybody, you're listening to the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm Chip Monk, and with me as always is the Mr. Gimpy.
What's up, Chip? It sounds like you
What's
lost
happening?
confidence there, dude, right at the end. You're like,
Yeah, I was like, I forgot where I was at.
Chipped Monk? Yeah, right. You're like, who am I? You're like the Jackie Chan movie, right? The classic,
That's
who
right.
am I? No idea.
Yes.
Dude, what's going on, man? How's your week been? It's actually what people don't realize, man, is we really don't talk that much outside of this pod, right? So I think whenever we do this little recap, it's like I'm like, hey, what'd you do all week, right? It's like
I have been living the life of a house cat. So like the way my AC works, it's like on a stack. So it's like whatever anybody else is doing in the building like comes to me. And it's like just destroys my allergies. So like I have like the heat on, and so like I don't know. I've been getting like these weird. I would say they're close to probably sinus infections, but not like severe enough where I need to go to the hospital.
Okay,
but bad enough where like I don't like want to go into work because I feel fucking horrible. And then like so I took like a day or two off just to like try and deal with these fucking allergies.
Yeah,
and then like the third day I was like, man, I'm feeling pretty good today. But I'm just going to play it safe just in case. And so I, call into work as a responsible adult. And then I'm like sitting there, like checking my phone. And it's about like an hour before, like, I would have normally start work. And like, I just start like throwing up. Like I was like a cat, like just hacking up like whatever was in the air.
Sure.
And I was like, well, I'm kind of glad I didn't go into work today.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. I was like, I actually feel really good. And I was just like, whatever, like I smoked. Yeah, that was it. I was coughing up hairballs. So I'm living that life, but in between that, it gave me a lot of free time. So
is that living? Is that living?
Yeah. Is it truly living?
Right.
Is a house cat living its life compared to a feral cat?
Right.
It's just different lifestyle choices. So I ended up reading a bunch of webtoon web comics.
Okay.
There's a lot of really bad stuff out there, man.
Like oh yeah.
Shockingly bad. But it's almost becomes like its own meta of the enjoyable comments that people leave because like everyone's like, hey man, this isn't a play, you don't have to tell us that you're departing, because like everyone's like, this is bad, I'm dropping this one. So
right. The people who feel the need to put a comment on, I'm quitting this. No one gives a fuck. Just stop doing it. Right? There's this big one too that's been going around on the interwebs was streamers quitting the game they were playing. Right? Like Dr. Disrespect goes, I'm quitting Halo. Like, dude, just fucking stop playing it if you're not enjoying it. Why are you gonna make a big announcement of it? No one gives a shit. Everyone expects you to drop it and go play a BR anyway. Like, fuck off.
I just expect them to play whoever's paying him the most money at this point. Like,
right. And that's what it is.
He's like clearly has contractual obligations to like big studio. Like, it finally feels like old media is starting to figure out that like how influential influencers are.
Right.
So they're like finally starting to pay people to like, play their games and stuff and treat them with better like / more respect. I was just listening to something about this, about how they had the problem with like Blizzard, like doesn't really respect its like own developers or the influencers or reviewers. So it'll be like, there'll be like the League of Legends event where they're like, oh, come on out, and they'll like pay to fly you out. They'll give you like a per diem for food, and then they'll give you like an Uber credit for like getting like around.
Sure.
And then like the flip side for like Blizzard, they're like, yeah, come on out if you can make it. Like they don't really give a f. They're like, you're lucky to come to a Blizzard event is how they feel. So
even Valve is more hospitable to the press, right? Like Valve, who's notoriously keeps their cards close to their chest. They've been working on Half-Life 3 forever, which they finally, I want to say it was last year, admitted like Half-Life 3 is not in the works. So they can put a lot of stuff to rest. The lead writer of Half-Life released the story synopsis he made for Half-Life 3, so that's that was some closure, right?
Yeah, then, you got some of that. It also seems like Steam has been doing more of its own community outreach as well. Like if you look at what they've done with like the Steam Deck, where they just had like a video where they like show you how to open it up. They're like, hey, you own this hardware, you might need to open it up at some point. I wouldn't suggest it because it has all this like, little bits and bobs you're going to lose. Right. But this is how you could do it to like, fix something if something happens, or clean it if you're probably going to have to clean this.
It's a very I forget the law. It's like the right of self-repair. It's very right of self-repair positive, which is incredible for anyone manufacturing hardware to actually take steps to do this. And I think they're actually going to publish something on Instructables as well for dealing with your Steam Deck. So I think that's incredible for the actual studio to support this, because as we advance in this digital age, a lot of people were just locking their shit down. We're using security bits and everything else, so you can never open our system. And then some people, was it 2 generations ago? You needed security bit hex screws to open anything, basically.
Yeah, man. And I also think like we always kind of joke about like what's the. I've never been hot on the Bitcoins, but I've always liked the blockchain technology. And I could see, again, like actually manufacturing physical chips that have, like some sort of blockchain technology that ties that hardware to a user. And then they're like, maybe have some sensor in there where like if you open something up, they're like, it's dead. You can no longer use this product. Like, you have to buy like a new thing, So I'd be like, we're getting to a scary place where like the technology is getting to a point where it can like auto lock you out of it. And so you could buy something, but like you don't own it. It's right that the future where you own nothing and you'll be happy.
It's slowly happening. It is. It's a dystopian wonderland that we are barreling towards. But this is not a futurist show. This is a gaming show. So.
That's right. Yeah. I think, awesome. Yeah, but they do great stuff with the press with the Steam Deck. So I don't know. It's all good, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Are we going to like start rolling into it?
No.
This season, that time of year?
I just wanted to touch on a little something first.
So, what have you been up to, man? Like
Halo, bro. Halo is what I've been up to. That's what it is. The game has some problems right now. It's community led, but industry started the problem. Right now, if you are playing solo, so by the time this comes out, hopefully everything will have been alleviated, because 343 announced last night that playlists are coming. Free-for-all, SWAT, Fiesta, other playlists are on their way. Oh, Team Slayer, like a dedicated playlist so you can actually play what you want, which should have been at launch. It should have been, but
sure. But
if anything, you had to wait about a week from the true launch of the game to play what you want.
That's too long,
which is bullshit. So
especially with how the Battle Pass rolled out too. So there's like people right now. So they're going like deep conspiracy theory. I don't know if you've seen anything about this, where they're like they kind of fixed the Battle Pass, like how much points you need, but then people are like, I'm not getting the matches I need. They're like, of the last like 30 games, I've only gotten like 2 games for like the Battle Pass type match I need.
All the challenges are generated, but that's a problem. Sometimes some of like you need a specific weapon that only spawns on certain maps on certain variants is a problem. They just want you to play more, but it's an issue. The biggest thing though is I won't mention the publications, but there were 2 publications that I've seen personally, and I believe there were 3 that published it, advocating people to quit matches, showing them how to like look ahead, see what match is coming up, and to just quit it beforehand. There's no penalty for quitting, so in quick play, and I believe in ranked, I think you get it's if anything you get banned for like a half hour or 10 minutes for quitting too much, but you don't take an L, I believe. So
I mean, it's a reasonable solution to an unreasonable problem.
So, but it's killing it completely at this moment. I've been only playing the single player because it killed quick play. Every single match, one of our mutual friends, Heart on the Table, has been tracking his matches, and over at the last point when we talked about it, over 30 matches, he had 57 people quit. It's more than one a match, dude.
I mean, bro, like I get the same problem in like Overwatch ranked, dude, where it's like like 1 out of 3 matches, somebody like just quits.
But
I have levers, dude. Like I haven't been tracking, but it is a large percentage. I know it's like frustrating. Like they had the same problem with what was it? Street Fighter, where the people could disconnect from matches they were losing to not lose.
yeah, Street Fighter ended up fixing that though.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah. So I'm saying they can fix this. It's not like it's an unheard of problem of like people gaming the system.
True, but here's where it hurts. The people who are playing the matches, such as myself, I haven't touched rank, and I touched rank once in the past week, and it's because I got oddball 3 times in a row in ranked, which is fine. I'll play whatever match comes up. I don't care. My teammates, however, they do care. So I was doing the solo queues, and I got oddball 3 times, all 3 times. At a minimum of 3 people quit my team. It's 4v4. 3 times I had 3 people quit. I was alone for fucking 3 matches, and
sounds like
they will not
Valorant.
repopulate. They will not repopulate rank. Valorant people, like, at least they'll give me orbs and shit. And if there's too many, like it'll just end the game. It's not that big.
It sounds like we need to get the crew together to like start farming some points, dude. Like this sounds like the time to do it.
So I was talking to Mitchie Buddy, and I was saying the only way to play this right now is to have a 4 stack to go and play, because if the other team quits, you have the advantage then.
It's free real estate.
It's fucking stupid, dude. It really pissed me off. So I'm like, they need a free-for-all playlist where if people quit, who gives a shit? Because you have a full, you're just killing other people. Who cares?
Yeah.
So they're finally doing it, but it literally killed quick play, dude. Like there's no reason to play quick play because you're never gonna have a full, like, an even match. It's stupid.
You also have to remember that I don't think they have a way to reconnect to a match either, right?
Quick play you do.
On quick play they finally do. It's ranked that you can't reconnect if you've dropped
for whatever reason. Okay. Yeah. So
I mean, they clearly have some things to work out. I don't know. It's kind of like you said. It's mostly community driven outrage, and I think it tells us how much people love Halo. Is that they want the game to be better. They do better.
Yeah. It's making the community suffer, and people who are just trying the game. And if you have people leaving every time, it's like, why play the game? So I think it's shooting them in the foot. So hopefully, the playlist thing will alleviate some of this problem. They really need an option to rejoin. I will say that I started the single player, and there's points in it where you're looking at it, you're like, this is 100% meant to co-op, but it's not out yet. But we'll get into that in a bit. But I will say I am enjoying the single player. But yeah, with that being said, this episode of the Combo Wombo, we are doing something that we have waited all year for, because last year when we started the combo, well, a few months ago when we started the Combo Wombo, we didn't get to do this.
It's been a year.
It'll be a year.
We're closing in on it.
We're closing in on it. It'll be a year when we started recording next month, but when we first posted, we're about 2 months away.
Okay, yeah. We had like a whole queue built up just in case. We're like, well, let's get a few in the can before we actually start posting these.
Yeah.
Like I think we've said that statistic before, where it's like most podcasts only get to 3 before they sputter out. So it's like, what if we already recorded? The big brain was like, if we already have 3 in the can, then like let's go after that.
Yep. So yeah, we're coming up on a year, dude. But the biggest staple among any like, say, gaming oriented thing, even movie oriented thing, is the year-end review, the Game of the Year awards, all that shit. So it's our turn. So presenting
all right, let's go.
Combo Wombo's Game of the Year 2021 with Chipmunk
we'd have like
and
something
Mr. Gimpy.
I feel like Game of the Year is played out. Do we need something more like we need to do like how Pokemon does their naming convention? We need something like that. We need like the Onyx Awards or something, like the Obsidian / Onyx year of the gems. How about gems, dude?
Okay, you rambled a bit, but I'm here. I'm back with you. You lost me, and I'm back.
I was coming up with ideas. A spitball in there.
Right.
Combo Wombo's gems of the year, or Gold Mountain, something, Treasure Vault.
Sure. All that.
Precious gems.
Precious. I like precious gems. I do. Yeah, man. So So yeah, let's get into it, man. So I've made a list of 5. I have honorable mentions. So
Yeah.
we'll do it round robin. I'll do one, you do one, and we'll see where we get.
Wow.
All
All
right.
right. Yeah. And to preface this as well, like we kind of talked a little bit beforehand, like none of our games are like in some sort of order. There's not like a best or worst. These are just like either what we had personal hands-on experience playing with and really enjoyed, or games that we really appreciate in the periphery that we just didn't get a chance to play yet, but we, you know, uh, we know they're good. Basically, based on like other people's reviews and like gameplay footage that we've seen. You know, like chances are that new Pokemon games probably pretty good.
Got it.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a way
Like,
to cover your ass there. I played all my games, but
I've played probably 50% of my games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and we're both just doing 5 as well.
For sure.
I would just like to start by saying that the new system, the Game and Watch, this year's Zelda that's dropped. So I think this will be out a little bit before Christmas, right? Or is this right?
Yeah,
on?
it should be out. It should be out at the time of posting this. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking for like a last minute stocking stuffer for the Zelda fan in your life, it's okay. Everyone says like
Zelda,
like the controls feel all right. They're still like kind of like lower, so like it can be uncomfortable to play for like over a prolonged period of time. But yeah, it's a game and it's a watch, so that it's definitely they got
it's like the old pillow pet commercials. It's a pillow and a pet. It's a pillow pet, but it's Game and Watch. You got that. For sure, dude. For sure. That's a good gamer gift. Man. I think last year the good like stocking stuff gamer gift was the Mario Kart like RC cars that had the camera on it so you could race. That was like a good like quick gamer oriented gift. I think personally, I didn't think I'd do this, but I'm gonna because you just brought it up.
'Tis the season.
I got this for myself. It's not for my kids. But for those listening, I am showing Chip the Sonic and Dr. Robotnik, the final boss battle from Sonic 2, where Robotnik, you're fighting Robotnik. I got that in toy form. It's available at Amazon, GameStop, and all of that. You actually, like, Sonic's in a catapult, and he catapulted at the Eggman's robot to kill him. So I got that. I'm super excited for it. I'll play it with my kids around the holidays, but I'm keeping it because this is for me. This is not for my kids. This is for me.
It looks like a nice piece.
Yeah, dude. I've had it since it came out. I haven't opened it, but I'm not one of those hyper nerds who doesn't open like stuff. I buy things to play with, right? Or to use.
Sealed, mint in package. Yeah, man, that looks great. That's awesome. It looks like it's got some weight to it as well. It looks like it'd be like good for, something you can play with the kids with and not have to worry about them like swallowing small pieces.
Yeah. It's like it's designed to, like, the robot is designed to be broken, So my plan is to, in the next couple of days, beat Sonic 2 with my kids watching. Have them see that final boss fight. Have them
show them the trailer for the new Sonic movie.
Make them watch They're excited. They're excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Of which, Sonic the Hedgehog 2's trailer dropped, and it looks fantastic. So
yeah, shout out.
Yeah, dude. But that's, I think so. When I beat Sonic 2, when I open that. I think I'll do it when my daughter starts her Christmas vacation. So I'll play Sonic 2's final boss theme like in the surround sound, and then just have that set up, and then like, hey kids, you want to fight Robotnik with me? So it'll be good. It'll be fun.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, dude, that's a good thing. I just can't believe
let's do it, man. The face off. All right, we got the presents out of the way. Now it's time to get present with the game of the gems. The gems of the year. Yeah, dude.
METHOD, man.
GOTY was game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Not Game of Thrones. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
You want to go first, or should I?
I'll go first. I'll do a little spiel, and then we'll go to you, and we'll go back and forth, just like Red and Meth. All right. Got Wu-Tang references today. All right. No particular order, like Chip said. I will start off with the game this is the one game that I played through multiple times this year from launch. I didn't realize how much I was looking forward to it until it was in my hands. That game is the Nintendo Switch exclusive, Metroid Dread. It is definitely a return. I don't even want to say return to form, because Metroid has been good like went forever. Like the side
took
scrolling
a bit
ones
of a hiatus.
outside of Other M, it's been good forever. But Dread hit all of the points, all of the high notes that you wanted in a Metroid game, and it's one of the few AAA games that came out that was overall a very solid, not as buggy release. There was one game breaking bug that they found right away and patched after a week. I didn't even run into it, so for me, it was a flawless experience, and I loved it so much that I went back and played through it a second time. I'm going to work on a third to try and beat it in under, like a certain time limit. But Metroid Dread is a game that definitely deserves to be in the Metroid series. My favorite in the series has always been Fusion, actually, and Dread has overtaken Fusion as my favorite. And then people are like, "Oh, blasphemy! Metroid 3 or Super Metroid, Metroid 3, Super Metroid is the best one." Yes, but it's not my favorite. I can admit something's the best, but then when you deal with like personal favorites, there's definitely a lot that goes into it. And Metroid Dread, like the Edie fights, things like that, the quick reaction to the counter system, really spoke to me. The boss fights were very fun, and the exploration of the new planet was phenomenal, and some of the sequence breaking that I've done in my second playthrough has been very big brain. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend. Anyone who has played something like Hollow Knight, Guacamelee, fucking Metroid, Castlevania, Bloodstained, any of those games, if you had any love for any of this, get Metroid Dread. It was amazing. Leave it to Chip.
Yeah. For me, I got Guilty Gear Strive. Even though Slayer isn't in it, for me personally, I've always loved the studio, what they do. He's coming. He'll be DLC. Mm-hmm. You pay a little extra for your boy Slayer. For the real gamers, he's going to be too OP. I've always enjoyed Guilty Gear, but I love what they've done with like the 3D art style, and like that studio has done like consulting for other studios. So like I know they've done stuff with like a DBZ and stuff. Like they've really elevated the entire industry. For
Orcs has made it. They made DBZ too. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. They're really well. They got asked to consult on like the last DBZ game, and then like they're like, why don't we just give it to these guys? They obviously know what they're doing. And then that's why we had like a little bit of a hiatus from another Guilty Gear game. And I know like I would say this one isn't as polished as the previous installment, but it's still damn good. I would say like they're leaning more into the 3D and less into like the painstaking keyframe animation that they used to do. It's just a different aesthetic choice, but it still looks great. The game looks unbelievable. Like if you look at screenshots of that game, you're like, what is this? Like, how come I haven't heard of it? By all accounts, it's like a pretty solid fighting game. It's pretty well balanced still until the DLC characters come and break the meta and all this. But yeah, man. I've just always loved Guilty Gear, and I love what they've done aesthetically with their move into 3D, and they really elevated the game all around them for every other studio when they're like thinking about how can we make, even like anime studios have like brought them on to consult, like, how'd you guys do that? Yeah. So I don't know. I love the tech. I love the style. I love the game as well. I've had a lot of fun playing it. I played with you. I played with the professor. Not Strive, but just Guilty Gear. And yeah, I've bought I think all the OG ones on Steam as well. Mm-hmm. So every once in a while, not all the time, but every once in a while, I'm like, man, I want to play some Guilty Gear, and then I'll like load it up, and it's phenomenal every time. So it's like it's like a going home, man. So that's
Strive. Strive is a fantastic pick. So they paint over the 3D models, and they actually they're not keyframed correct, but they do emulate everything that the 2D ones did. So if there's actually this really interesting, it's either Game of Sutra or it was like a YouTube in-depth deep dive in how Strive was made. So if you overlay like Guilty Gear X2 over Strive, some of like the moves that carried over are the exact same frames, exact same animation, exact same thing, and they've painstakingly done this. So behind the scenes, the 3D model is fully, motion, but they hide it because they painted over it. So to your eye and to like the hitboxes and stuff, it's the same. So
yeah.
It's absolutely incredible how they did it. And
they got a few like GDCs as well, like where they break down the tech.
Right. And the like wacky characters like Faust and stuff feel phenomenal and feel exactly as it is. And the one thing they did with 3D that I was worried about because of the, traditionally Japanese publishers have not done the best with certain aspects of 3D in fighting games, such as the weight, or like the floatiness and things. Guilty Gear feels like Guilty Gear. It's fantastic, and I look forward to the future for what they're doing. Great pick, dude. Great pick.
Yeah. Back to Gimps.
All right, my next game. This is like the hardest struggle for me to putting this one on my list versus the other. Psychonauts 2. It was definitely
speaking of stylized 3D.
Yeah, I was really debating Psychonauts 2 over Ratchet and Clank. I will mention Ratchet and Clank later, but here's what let Psychonauts 2 win out for me. Psychonauts 2 and Ratchet and Clank, they're both sequels. Ratchet and Clank is starting a new trilogy with theirs, so it's pretty self-contained. Psychonauts 2 is it's a sequel to Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin and Psychonauts 1. It picks up right where Rhombus of Ruin left off and does like a little recap beforehand. But I have to say, Double Fine / Xbox Game Studios now knocked it out of the park completely. Psychonauts 2 is one of the best action platformers I have ever played in my life. And it won out over Ratchet and Clank because of story, comedy, characters. Every single character that's introduced in Psychonauts 2 is off the wall fantastic. The gameplay, creative as hell. Level design, creative as hell. Off the wall fantastic. Where Ratchet and Clank looks better tech-wise, and it had very funny moments and things like that. Psychonauts 2 just elevated things that much more from a presentation, from a stylized point. And Psychonauts 2 is definitely won my action platformer game of the year, and definitely in my top 5. I was worried that after 7 years of development, fucking nearly 20 years of us asking for a Psychonauts 2, that it would not meet my expectations. And Double Fine has burned me in the past with some games like Broken Age, their first Kickstarter that had broke everything, broke all the records, and they went back into the adventure games, and that game was very disappointing. I was worried, but rest assured, Psychonauts 2, fantastic. It's on Game Pass if you haven't played it. It's on PC and the Xbox series of consoles. Fucking play it. Psychonauts 2 was fantastic.
It's almost a tale of two cities as well, like you're saying, with between Ratchet and Clank and Psychonauts, where Psychonauts, like, it seemed like they weren't even sure if they're going to be able to, afford to make the entire game. So, like, you had to, like, really bolt down and make everything that you did put in the game way tighter, and everything has more of a purpose. Whereas Ratchet and Clank, they had like a bigger budget and just kind of a timeline. They're like, we want this to be a premier launch title, get it done by this point. And it's like first party. So they have like, it almost is like when a new Mario game comes out, where it's like you expect it to be good, but you're more looking at it for like the tech, where you're like, what is the tech behind this? Like, what are they really showing off? That it can do.
It had the best case usage so far for the Sony's SSD. And the game is beautiful. The game is amazing. It's the best platformer available on the PlayStation right now. And like I said, it was almost a toss-up between that and Psychonauts, but Psychonauts edged it out for me.
It's the same thing you would say about like a Mario game, where you're like, oh, this Mario game's like amazing. It's like, yeah, but you expect that tier of excellence from a first party game. And now, you can say that about Psychonauts now that Microsoft has bought them up. It's like they now are the first party game that they're going to have to carry the torch for platforming for Microsoft moving forward. And they had a big entry into the genre. This is a good first step. I don't know if they're going to force them to keep making. You're going to have and it's not a bad thing either. Like, I enjoy new Mario games. I enjoy new Ratchet and Clank games. Yeah. So I would not mind a new badass Psychonauts every couple of years.
Yeah. I'm okay with it. If they keep that level of quality, fuck yeah. It was amazing. It was truly amazing. Nice. But yeah, man, that's my second game. And back to Chip for his second.
All right, mine is Halo Infinite. I've played a ton of multiplayer. I was having a ton of issues getting the single player campaign up and running on the PC. I blame Steam. I bought it through Steam, and like Steam just decided to like not tell me things. So for my games, I have them on my second hard drive, not the solid state. And like my second hard drive like filled up, And so like it just decided to like stop downloading at one point. But I was also having network issues where my network was disconnecting around the exact same time. So I was like, oh, my network must be broken. So I like, go reset my router, came back. I was like, all right, seems like my network's working again. And then I'd restart the download and I was like, watch like a show or something. Cause I was like, oh, this will take like a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I'd come back and I'm like, still not downloading, huh? What's up with that? Why does it keep pausing this download? It wasn't like, hey man, your hard drive's full at any point. So I had to be like, so I had to like uninstall a couple other games, but eventually got finally working. I'm like an hour or two into the campaign. Incredibly enjoyable, amazing graphics all around. I mean, the game looks phenomenal and plays buttery smooth. So it's really great. I don't know. It's a Halo, man.
Yeah.
I've taken a big break from the Halo franchise in general. Like I think 4 was the last one I played. I played like all of them all the way through. Like I couldn't tell you anything to save my life about like the story or what's going on. I've never been deep into the lore. I know there's like lots of books and stuff, and some people love it, but and like I know enough about the lore to feel it was like hella cringy already. Like the story where like I don't know, they're trying to like build up Cortana to be like some ridiculous character that's like always been super important from the beginning, but like she wasn't. Like, come on. She was important so much as that like she was an AI that helped get you to like different points in the game, but now they're like, oh no, like from the beginning she was always supposed to be like part of the suit of armor that gives you like a new sense of whatever. It's like 2 eyes on the battlefield, and I'm like, man, this is bullshit. And then they're like they try to make like Master Chief seem like he was like the chosen one from the beginning as well. Like they're like, oh, I always knew from the beginning you were different, Master Chief. You're super important. And it's like, come on, bro. This is some eye-rolling cringe shit. Like everybody knows it's like a super soldier program. There's like a ton of Spartans and like I don't know. Whatever, bro.
The Halo fan in me was screaming at that moment, and I was fucking dying. I just felt arrows just hitting me in the chest each time he said something.
He's not the chosen one, dude. It was like a super soldier program. Come on. I don't care what your animes and your fucking books say.
All right. I won't go into it on why he's so special. But I will say Cortana herself is special for even from the first game, because she is the first of her kind of onboard AI. And she was the catalyst that let you stop the ring in the first game. Without Cortana, you would have failed. She definitely got more important as the series progressed. And a lot of the big plot points were because of her doing. Halo 1 with the index and finding out the plan and learning that Halo itself is a weapon. Halo 2 at the end of it, well, you got on board of High Charity, and she stayed behind to fuck up the Covenant BattleNet and interfaced with Gravemind prior, which is the technically the Flood leader. Halo 3, she found the was it Delta Halo, Zeta Halo, or the Arc? I think they all blur together at this point, but was the reason why she basically ended the Covenant Human War. Halo 4, learning about the Didact, and then the thing was more about her relationship with the Chief. So she's been important to different aspects, and you said
gotten like progressively more important, and then like they try and like retrofit her in to be like, oh, she's like the most important thing to like Master Chief. And like, I don't know, I've always looked at Master Chief as just kind of like a force of nature. He's just kind of like he just shows up and does shit. And like there's other Spartans, but like it's your self insert into the world.
Yeah, like, you the player, you are the most important part. That's what it does. Chief is there for you. So I'll do mine too.
Like my power fantasy is like flying around, jumping, shooting things. Like I'm already getting it, dude. I don't need to like be like have hot smoke blown up my ass as well. Like while I'm like getting the story where it's
the hot smoke up my ass. Yeah,
all right, that's fair.
I pay extra for it.
for me, like I'm just to me, it's just kind of cringy. But like all that being said, like I really enjoyed the game. Like it does fulfill like a really good, like you feel strong, especially in the early part of the game as you're supposed to. I'm sure. Where like I'm just like running up, punching things that go flying. Everything has like good weight and feel in the world. Like when you swing off of something, it feels how it should. If that makes sense.
Yes, if you will know a game that doesn't get grappling hooks right immediately.
Yeah,
So yeah. I will say, so my game, I also have Halo on my list. So that's one of my 5.
Should I throw it back to you? You just go into
No, I'll just go in. And then I'll go right after, just because Halo's also on my list. We have some overlap there. I almost didn't put Halo on here for a couple of reasons. But the campaign actually is the reason why I put it on. I think that the surprise launch was a mistake. It was definitely too buggy at the moment. Releasing the campaign without some Halo staples such as co-op, Forge, custom games are broken, playlists hurt the game. The battle pass progression, while fixed, shouldn't have been an issue in the first place. What saved it, and keep in mind, I'm playing Halo almost every day. I'm enjoying it there, but
this, this is our game of the year. Like it's clearly coming from a place of love. Is that
yes. But I don't have my goddamn pink color yet, and that pisses me off.
Yeah.
But the campaign,
light red,
the feeling of the game really brought it back. There's been, of my game of the year list, there are 2 games that caused me to not sleep. Halo Infinite's one of them, and that above all else is one of the things that solidifies it as my game of the year. It is. You can have all of the negative criticism you want. Reddit was a cesspool of negativity regarding the game. I've been saying this for a while to some of our mutual friends, that the negativity is because the game is so close to being one of the legendary games of all time. It is so frustratingly close to that, where it doesn't hit it, and everyone knows that it should have. And if the game was delayed like another 6 months to have a feature complete package, that would have helped. If the game didn't drop piecemeal, that would have helped. But for what we have, for what the game is, it's great and deserves to be on my game of the year list.
I mean, I'm a super optimist, man. Like I've always given like the benefit of the doubt to like a lot of these bigger studios, especially with like how they roadmap things out now. So I could see in 6 months it being the legendary game, but I don't know if it detracts from it because it had such a wacky start. Because I feel that way still about like Cyberpunk, where I
haven't played Cyberpunk based on the start. I don't want to deal with the bugs, and I'm done. I don't have any interest. If it's $10, I'll play it, and I don't want that to happen to Halo. And unfortunately, that's how the zeitgeist works.
Yep, and like you can see that as well with a lot of people, because like their numbers are like way up in Cyberpunk after like a Black Friday sale, where it's like, oh, a $30 price point, like a lot more appealing to a wider audience. Where like, and I don't know, like, but they're taking steps to fix their game, and that studio's done it in the past with like The Witcher, where like it came out busted, and they're like, oh, we'll just keep fixing this until we get it right, and they did, and it's one of the classic games. But like back when those games were being launched, it was just buggy, horrible mess. Bethesda's another studio that launches like janky garbage, and there's more forgiveness for that studio for some reason. It seems like they've burned a lot of their good, and they've burned a lot of that goodwill over the years as well, just because like, you can only do this so much before people are just like fed up with your shit. And I think you see that now where people, it's almost like the Bethesda effect, where like they've burned like gamers goodwill so much, where like a game like Cyberpunk comes out and people are like, maybe in like 2 years when it's $10, I'll try it. Like, they're hiring like modders and stuff in that community, like trying to get like, a better experience. And so like I could see something like that with Halo, where like, maybe in like a year or two, it'll be like one of the greatest games ever created. But like right now, it's just short of greatness. But like it doesn't need much to get there. And like you're saying, like 6 months from now, like if they have like a steady, like every 3 months, doing like their updates and patches, like it easily could be like the only game anyone's playing next year. Like they're like everyone's just, it's going to be like, it could easily overtake all the other shooter genre out there. And I don't even think that's like too bold of a statement to be like, it could overtake Counter-Strike, it could overtake Valorant, it could overtake like a lot of these like classic FPS games that are like chart topping, holding the multiplayer zeitgeist.
That's it's very sweet of you. I don't think you're speaking from hyperbole, but you're never going to overtake Counter-Strike. That's the thing. Like it's what I mean. But yeah, I definitely
don't never doubt Microsoft. It's a big studio. Like if they start throwing money behind tournaments, and bring back like some competitive play. Like they
See how it
have
goes. Yeah.
pretty solid net code. Like I don't know, like I could see them. If they threw that in, I think that could be huge as well. Like some in-game tools for people to hold their own tournaments. That would be big.
Yeah,
And
that'd be great.
if they threw some resources there.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, Halo Infinite on both of our lists. It's so
Does it go back to me then? Because I did Halo and then you did Halo, and now it comes back to me.
It'll be me. It'll be me. I just kind of tag teamed it. The next one on my list is a game I don't think you've played. And throughout this pod, I think most of our listeners who've stuck with us throughout the year, yourself learning, this pod is also kind of us learning about each other, kind of too, like gaming sensibilities, things we like, and roguelikes are one of my favorite genres. There is one AAA roguelike release that this is the other game that had me stay up late into the night. Returnal on the PS5. From the usage of the new controller, from the feel of rain hitting your body and activating different actuation points on the controller in my hand, that the game every single time I literally had to pull the game out and like make it harder to reach for myself. It's make it more of a hassle to stop playing it so I can not stay up all night and go to work the next day. The game is so freaking addicting, and it was definitely overshadowed in the Game Awards. It had like one nomination in one category, but for me, anyone who's missed out on this game or sleeping on it is doing it a disservice. House Marquee has never made a bad game, and this is one of their best, if not one of the best games that the PlayStation 5 will ever have. This was one of the system sellers for me. I bought the PS5 for Ratchet & Clank and Returnal, and I don't regret it one bit. Those games are fucking amazing, and Returnal doesn't get the praise that I think it deserves. So Returnal,
I would say like list. Almost roguelikes have become like a hugely competitive market. We also had
it was also my favorite roguelike of the year that's come out.
Yeah, these two are on my honorable mentions that are roguelikes. I got Hades and The Binding of Isaac Repentance. And like both those are also bangers, but like Returnal just like brings it up to like you're saying, like it's just a completely different, just a AAA experience. Whereas like both those are indie studios. It's you're not going to be able to compete with the big boys. Like when the big boys put on the gloves, like they're going to go to war, and like they're just going to have like just everything just that fine polish that
Binding of Isaac is actually my favorite roguelike of all time. The Repentance DLC, I took a day off of work to play it. It's amazing. It's feature complete. But Binding of Isaac, it's an experience that I know, believe me, well and good. I know that experience. Returnal is a new experience, which is why I chose it. But I really appreciate you putting Binding of Isaac on your honorable mentions list.
I put it there because my coworker would not shut up about Binding of Isaac. He loves that game. Like he legit has like 7,000 or 8,000 hours into like the Binding of Isaac.
Holy shit.
Yeah, thousands of hours. Like that's his go-to game. Like he just will go home and play that for a little bit, like every day. You'll do a couple of runs.
Respect on that.
And so like he'll like be like, oh, telling me about like the meta and like all this other stuff. He's like, oh, you could do like this. We'll talk about like crazy builds, and I'm like, all right. And so like I don't know, he's just kind of drilled it into me over like the course of the year, and I was like, oh yeah, that Binding of Isaac DLC came out, dude. I gotta add that into my honorable mentions. Like, the game's just never really. It looks too good for me. Like I'm like I only have so many hours. Like I hear like stories from everybody who's like I got 100 200 hours. Yeah, it looks like super addictive, and that's why that's why I stayed away from like the Hearthstone for so long, the Battlegrounds.
Sure.
I was just like, oh, this is just a slot machine and I don't want to get into this, and then I did, and now like I play that game like every day. So
all right,
yeah,
what's
Hades
your next game,
buddy. For me, Resident Evil Village. It's a hot game. Drop. Yeah, fantastic game by all accounts. They're really zoning it back in, bringing back more to like the classical survival horror elements of the genre. It got super arcadey as a series there for a little bit. I would say after the blowout success of 5, they didn't know really what to do with the series, because like 5 kind of hit like the perfect, you
mean 4?
Is it 4?
With Leon?
Yeah,
was the biggest Resident Evil
with
series,
the village.
game
4
ever. Yep.
Is that?
Yep. It was 4. 5 was the one with Chris and Sheva Alomar. And
okay, that's the one where it's like hella.
That's the punching boulders one. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
you know what?
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I played them all.
So,
like, yeah,
anime though. Like the entire series gets like goofy. I don't know. It's launched like an entire franchise. Like there's a lot of great DNA in like the survival horror genre. I don't know if Resident Evil will be able to bring it forward, but they've definitely brought it this far. And this game, Village, kind of like shows what can be done. It gets back to like a lot more of like getting into like tight corridors, like a lot of like that, like just waiting, like that, like monster in the, like you're hiding in the closet from a monster type of feeling that is hard to capture, especially like in a video game setting. But I know they do a pretty good job of like when they switch you to like I think it's like the little girl and stuff, or you're hiding around. So I don't know, this is a great game.
You're mentioning the second boss encounter, which is kind of like a haunted house kind of a thing, which truly was my favorite point of the game. It was incredible and was the one game this year that actually gave me a sense of dread. I loved it. And don't want to spoil it, but I see why you chose that on your list.
Yeah, I think it's just a great game, man. That's Resident Evil. It's a classic. About you, man.
Next game and final game on my list at this point, since we both had Halo, is Deathloop. It's a game that I gushed about when it came out. It came out of left field for me because I thought the marketing for it was terrible. It looked like a very generic shooter, but good God, is it anything but.
I didn't get it because Bethesda was behind it.
Arcane Studios developed it, though.
Okay.
Level design, fantastic, over the top, great. The invasion multiplayer mode is like I guess they had some problems at launch.
It's Bethesda game.
But yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it was fixed relatively quickly, and holy shit, is that one of the coolest things ever. I'm trying to assassinate a target, someone comes in and fucking tries to assassinate me, dude. It's like this, you know that horrible movie that came out in the early 2000s with Antonio Banderas and Lucy Liu, Ballistic X versus Sever, where there are two assassins, like one trying to kill one of them.
That movie was amazing.
Like that, but great. That movie was terrible. Don't give me that.
What?
It's so bad.
How dare you?
It's like that, man. I'm trying to get this done, and this person's trying to kill me. It was incredible. It's such great emergent gameplay. It brings that dark. We talked about this, where Doom Eternal should have been the one to do this, to have in the Dark Souls invasion style multiplayer in the single player campaign. Deathloop does it. Deathloop does it so creatively, so fantastic. That if you had any semblance of wanting to play a unique shooter this year, even if you don't like shooters, truthfully, Deathloop deserves your attention. It is on sale during the Steam Winter Sale, 50% off. If you got $30 US, fucking buy it. It's so fun.
Ooh.
So fun. I don't think anyone will regret that purchase. It's great. But yeah, Deathloop. That's another one for me.
Forza Horizon 5. I have nothing to really say about Deathloop. Sorry. That's fine. Nothing to add. I was to me, it looked interesting, but I was like worried about how it would be executed, just because it's such a unique and interesting concept. So and like, it's hard when you have that to try and sell it like on a new audience as well. Like when you're trying to bring out like a unique idea, you're like, okay, you're an assassin and like you have to kill other assassins, and sometimes an assassin will try and kill you, and you're like, that sounds interesting, but like I don't understand it. Like, I understand it on paper, but I don't understand how it'll be fun in the game. But like you're saying, like, they did it. So,
you have to play it. It's hard to explain it, but you have to play it. Yeah. So Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 5. I still haven't downloaded this game. I love 4, and like 5 just looks like more 4 but better. And like you've only ever praised it. And I'm like, all right, yeah. I think I haven't played it, but I will by the end of this year. So
I'm looking forward to co-op racing with you, dude. It's so good, and it's one of the AAA games that just works. There's nothing wrong with it, as far as I know. It works. You know, you don't have to. There's no bug apologist or anything else. For it, I don't know of many racing games that came out this year. I think Dirt, like one of the Dirt games, was the other one. I'm not big into the Dirt series; it's a little too realistic for me. But Forza just hits that sweet spot. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. And then I think you had one more game on your list because I took 2 turns.
Yeah. Well, you went first, and then piggybacked on Halo. So It Takes Two is like my other final one. The game just is amazing, fun co-op. You know, just it is what it is.
It's a game that was made with only co-op in mind. You cannot play that game by yourself. I think I haven't played it just because I don't have anyone to play it with. That's the struggle, right? Like, man. I think some of my buddies bought it, but they're playing it with each other, and I think it's one of those games where it works best when both are going in blind. I'd hate to be carried through and figuring out puzzles and stuff with someone who's already played it, but it won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and it's incredible for a small studio like that to take home the industry. Like, you know, they're working on being the most prestigious industry award. I don't agree with it. I think the Game Awards is kind of hokey, but nevertheless,
it's kind of bullshit. Game Awards.
Nevertheless, it won.
I mean, I don't know. Like, every industry has something like that. We do like Game of the Year, and like they're pieces of art. They're different like genres. Like, it's hard. It's like having. I mean, they do like music awards, but usually they at least bolt it down to like a genre, where they'll have like a country music awards, or like they'll have like a popular music awards.
I mean, you have the Grammys for Album of the Year, Artist of the Year. You have the like Academy Awards, which I love the Academy Awards, for example. I watch it every year. People think I'm an old man for it, but I love acting. I love the art of filmmaking, and I love the Academy Awards. I love watching it unabashedly.
Did you have a film of the year?
We'll get into that one. But I do. I've never missed an Academy Award. Like I said, I wanted to be in acting when I was younger and love it. So I do think award shows are fun. I think they have. I think they're the culmination and recognition of your work at a certain point.
Yeah,
I think
or work of like your peers, like if you're in that industry,
truly.
like, like I don't know if like what they're doing for Game of Awards show is going to be it. I know they've had issues like getting sponsorships and stuff, and it seems like there's been a lot of like already corruption, on the back end. But they're trying. I wouldn't. And like every outlet does like a Game of the Year and stuff, so you can get a good general sense, especially with like how everybody has the ability now to leave reviews and stuff for games they play. Where there's like Metacritic, there's Steam reviews. Like you can at least now you have like a better sense of like what's available and like what might appeal to your taste. Like I was even shocked when we just set our top 5 before this. I was like, oh, I'm sure we're gonna have like a lot of overlap. And you're like, whoa, bro, there's like only one game on here. Like,
the only overlap we had was Halo.
And I was like, honorable mentions. I think like a lot of yours come into my honorable mentions. So for my honorable mentions, I have The Binding of Isaac, Hades, Psychonauts 2, and Metroid Dread. And they're just not my cup of tea, like roguelikes, but like I can respect the art and like the elevation of like the genres that I know. Like Hades is just a beautiful game. I know like that studio's gone through a lot right now with all their studio like having to work from home and all this stuff, but like they've been really transparent about that. Like you can see like a lot of stuff online. I know like they got robbed at one point like from like their studio when they're closed, and like they had to go in there and try and salvage out like some of the stuff. And so that's and it almost came out like just as like a whimper. Like it didn't really get like, because there's so much else going on in the world where it's like, I would say like the same with like Binding of Isaac, where it's like, it just kind of, there wasn't really a huge marketing budget for like a lot of these games, except for Metroid Dread and
Hades came out last year on the Epic Game Store exclusively. So, you know, I mean,
this is like the new rollout. So they did it to themselves. Like, they took the quick money, and that's okay. Like
as a developer, though, they also kind of fund it too. So I could see myself taking that deal too. You know,
it happens all the time.
Sometimes you want your game out. You know, by any means.
Keep your studio open as well.
Keep
the door. You got to keep people getting paid. Like
true.
That's why I still have a lot of forgiveness just for Cyberpunk. Like when the XY crossed and they like released, and they're like, they released a broken game. It's like, yeah, because you idiots pre-ordered it and they would lose money.
Though that's where I don't give them the thing, because it's published by the same company that developed
I would say I give them more
branches,
leeway because it's not like they have like a studio that they can go to ask for more money for more time. Because like when you only have like so much runway, and that's like your money you have coming in.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, if you've already made more money from your game, if you release it and you're just going to keep losing money, it's not like you get that money from pre-orders. It's all kept in escrow. So like you have like hundreds of millions of dollars sitting in escrow, and it's like, okay, do we want to like pay people for like the bonuses, make sure we keep our studio open during like the middle of the pandemic, or do we just hold off and get that final bit of polish over the next 8 months? It's like, just drop it. But I don't know, like it's there's a lot of nuance to it, and like, you know, it's a shitty thing to have to put studios up to. I know like Psychonauts 2 is like another one on this list where like they were running out of money and they had to go to Microsoft and be like, hey, you know, or I think Microsoft went to them and they're like, hey, how would you, work with us? And they're like, oh, fuck, thank God. Because like we're like burning the end of like, I don't know. And like, I don't know, maybe like some of that's just for the cameras as well. But it always seemed like they were running up against like their runway.
Their estimations are always terrible. Let me get to my honorable mentions here. We're near the end here. Forza Horizon 5. Lone Echo 2 very narrowly missed my top 5 list. Lone Echo 2 is a sequel to one of the best VR games ever, Lone Echo. You are in zero gravity. It's a puzzle game. The only thing that it's probably the best VR game of the year for me. The only reason it did not hit my top 5 is because I found some of the puzzles towards the end game a little repetitive, and compared to the first game, which I liked more, it was harder to go back to, and I think it's because I expected more from it. That doesn't discount the game, it's just my own personal opinion, but I definitely need to recognize it as one of the best games of the year. Ratchet and Clank was also on my honorable mentions list. Like I said, Psychonauts overtook it, and Guilty Gear Strive. The only reason that I didn't play it as much as I did is I've played a lot of fighters, and this year I just kind of got burnt out on them. Like no fault to the game itself. The game's fantastic. I personally just am a little burnt out. With our last couple of minutes here, Chip, let me just do this here.
Are we doing our 2 upcoming games that we're looking forward to?
Yeah. And I cheated and did 3. But go ahead. You go first.
No, that's fine. I'm just going to, we're doing these quick. Dune Spice Wars. It's an RTS game, simple 4X elements. I don't know. It's with the Dune movie that came out, I'm looking forward to it. And then Dookie V?
Yes.
DOKEV.
Yes.
It's like a slice of life / Pokemon game. And this looks like almost like the Pokemon game that we want the Pokemon Legend of Icarus to be. That I don't, because it seems like Pokemon's going more towards Pokemon Go, simplifying everything. And this seems like more like the OG open world, like into a RPG style battle. But those are my upcoming.
What was the first game you said? I had something to say on it.
Dune Spice Wars.
Yes. So Dune, those who don't know, Dune is the reason we had the RTS genre anyway. Dune started it all. It was the first true RTS game in the vein of the Warcrafts, the Starcrafts, the Command and Conquers. So the fact that there's a new Dune RTS is huge. So look for that. Look for that. For me, Hitman 3 VR. Because I said this on a VR episode, like our first ever episode, I believe I said this. And then I said it again on 2 of our other VR episodes of one of the games that I really wanted was Hitman in VR, to be able to use piano wire. And this is going to make me sound like a psychopath, but to be able to use piano wire in the game and strangle a man to death, hide his body, right? That seems amazing. And I am looking forward to it. So that's already out on another platform. It was exclusive, but it's coming out in PC VR in the next couple of months in 2022. So I'm looking forward to that. The other is Elden Ring, the From Software game, the next Souls style game. I don't know.
Is that the open world one?
Yes.
Oh man, that game looks sick, dude.
Yeah,
I've been watching like some people play like the open. Like I don't know how it's. I don't know how it's gonna work, but It looks interesting.
Yes, I'm sure we'll talk about it in an upcoming one when it comes out. And finally, I said I was burnt out on fighters, but I'm going back. I'm dipping my toes. I've never not played fighters. Like currently, my current fighter right now is Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It's probably the one I'm playing the most, and Virtua Fighter 5, even though it was probably the worst version of it. But King of Fighters 15, the open beta is happening in December, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's it. That's my games I'm looking forward to.
Last thing I'm looking forward to is like the Steam Deck. If that drops, that seems that's like the most promising new thing that's coming out. And yeah, it's good, man. I like that they're going to be a competitor to Nintendo's Switch. I think the technology is just getting better and better with like mobile. Like, why not? Why not?
For sure.
That's why. That's one of the bigger reasons too why I'm looking forward to that Doki V as well. Because like Pokemon hasn't had any good competition, and I feel like this will spice things up a bit.
Take it on the go for sure.
That's right.
All right, Chip. That does it, man. That's our game of the years for
game of the year
2021. I'm Mr. Gimpy.
A chipmunk.
You guys have a great day. Hope you had a great holiday. Happy New Year's. Like, share, subscribe. We're out of here, fellas.
We out.
Happy New Year.
Peace.